those farm raised, that count as farm
It'll
raised?
be like the
Well,
2983
well,
because they
raised
can't
in the
reimburse
ocean,
tax.
Yeah,
Sure,
they
that's
kind of farm
yeah,
them
okay.
because otherwise they can't find them again.
Yeah.
So they,
Thanks.
so they raise them in the sacks so that they can find them again.
That would be something I would like to be, that fresh seafood.
Except
Oh,
they
man.
got
You can't
raised in Wally
3
sweat
times
shop,
a day.
so-
Yeah.
Now, where did you end up when you came back down?
Montreal.
Oh,
We got to Montreal and then we spent 2.5
Joe?
days. We got there in the morning, we spent that whole day plus 2 more days.
okay, we're looking for something that's out on the ocean that goes down to the coast of New England.
Well, this one goes on the coast of New England.
Oh,
I just stopped,
Thanks.
we stopped in Bar Harbor, Maine, we
Oh,
stopped
okay.
in
on the way up.
Portland, Maine. Yeah, oh, well, this boat also goes, this ship also goes from Montreal
Nice
back.
hand.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's a nice one.
It's making 3, we were on the first round trip, it's making 3 round trips.
Oh, you made
Write down the name of the
round trip?
cruise
You
line.
can, we did not.
Oh, yeah, that's the way we did, yeah.
Just the name of the cruise line is what I'm after, not on my minutes, on the back.
Hey, everybody,
I
while
didn't
we're waiting for a
understand
few
the
more
name of
people
the
to show up,
cruise line.
you want to come up to the board and put your name down as to where you're going to be able to work on our field trip days? So there's our 3 dates, and there's our 3,
And we usually.
Oh, Howard.
What are the times?
Okay.
10 to 12.
And we go on that one because it's
Brian,
already,
What school
and you don't have 20
yeah,
something
it's,
going up and
Superior.
down the hall all night and not being able to sleep. And that's a constant problem on some of these big ships.
Monarch,
Yeah, well, yeah, I don't think we had that, we took
and
Norwegian to Alaska, and we didn't have that, but there were all
Well,
kinds
no,
of
what
ages.
times are what, 9 to-
At least you're
Sure.
taking.
yeah, the kids shouldn't
We've
have
always-
been 10, so they're
We've
probably
always
9
taken Holland
to
America
12.
because it's.
Oh, okay. Now, do you have to dress for dinner every night?
Nope.
Well, you have to wear clothes.
That's, maybe that's the
Well,
There is one,
like they used to
on
do.
this 10-day trip, there was one night when they wanted me to dress up.
Oh,
And
yeah.
then I go to the cafeteria.
That's your signal, huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll give that to you to, everybody else has had it except for.
Hi, Larry, how are you?
Okay.
Hi, Happen. Are
So,
Pleasure of your company.
yeah, only
Good morning, good morning.
How
are you doing today?
Instead of computer time.
Oh, if I was any better, I'd be here.
But to me, the biggest thing.
I'm doing great.
The first one we went on was one of these big ones, and it was
Hey, David.
all
How you
night
doing?
long, people on.
that you and Mark
And
here?
when you get home, by about 10 o'clock, it's quiet.
That's how far.
I could sit over there and you guys could sit
Oh,
here.
it's okay.
We're looking at,
Okay.
we want to go to Mississippi also.
Oh, okay.
That's on American Cruise Lines.
Yeah,
They're fairly pricey.
yes, they are. Most of, in Europe too, most of these river cruises are very pricey.
Oh,
Yes.
We have
And
friends.
we've not gone on them because they're very pricey. You can get
Hey, good, how you doing?
Yeah.
So,
She has a class on Friday morning. Yes, I'm worried about it. Yeah, well, it's exercise.
You sign up on the board?
Or are we supposed to sign
Right,
that?
right?
Yes.
today,
Maureen wanted us to
Is
look.
that Asti/Museum?
oh, I know about that. Oh,
Because we
yes,
need people at both places.
Yeah, it was the same difference, so I'll put that up there.
Seems how I have no idea when we're gonna be here, when you sign your name, sign mine on the jail. Unless somebody else is doing the jail.
We're gonna be here.
That's what I thought.
Well, jeez, Wally.
We need you, then you can take off.
Boy, it sounds we're not even gonna do that, so.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, so, I just thought I'd get that, and get a graphic, because
Good
I know
idea.
that we're not going to have, Jill or Alan. So,
This is just what these people need.
so I'm
Yeah, they haven't made it.
gonna kind of wait and, oh, I haven't texted
Louisiana.
it.
Just everybody needs him.
What's this?
They need people at the
I don't
helm.
wanna talk politics, it makes me sick.
Trump is visiting Louisiana again. Those people don't need Trump. They need help.
Trump's there to help.
Actually, well, actually, no, I'm not gonna say what I was gonna say. They need fish bait, so he should be there.
Katie,
Disregard
want to
that
be in
comment.
the museum or in the park?
I heard,
I don't,
I
I
said
don't
Or
that.
you
care.
don't care?
Yeah, I'm just available that day, so whatever doesn't
Mary and Daisy,
matter.
I'm going good up there on the board, so.
Right, yeah. We're supposed to go and put our autographs.
Yeah, see where we're gonna have some holes.
We may be there.
Well, I can
I mean, we can be
fill
there.
in either,
I'm
you know,
just waiting.
either place.
What day of the week?
Oh, okay. You can put my name up for Grasso too.
For all three
All
times?
Good, you
I
got
think,
this.
yeah, because we're leaving in October, so we're going together.
So you want to be all three?
Yeah.
Yeah, put Wally down for the third one too.
Put me down for whatever you feel like. Doesn't mean I'll be there, but you put me down.
We could, put him in the jail and we keep the lock.
I heard about that museum. I've been to that museum.
Have you?
Yeah,
Wally, you're down now.
yes.
Took care of you.
No, good, thank you.
Jill wants me to narrate for the Grasso buildings one of the days,
Okay.
but I could obviously be there,
So I
but
guess what I
could
need
be,
to do
you
is
know,
get over to
whatever.
that museum and
And
get
do
my
that at
billy
different
club out
times.
and get that baby all polished
Because
up.
we need three people at the museum usually.
They put a little lacquer on it.
Later we'll be on it too. Chris Hansen does.
Yeah. I mean, one person can do the park, but I don't know
He's
if
at a country for the original.
Took you toured everything at the Normandy.
is Bob going to be around or is Bob here? Oh, Bob's going to be here.
Bob's
Do
watching.
you want to be the SD Park or the museum or either one?
Well, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, you can put Bob
You
there.
want Bobby, you have to put him down yourself.
All three times, Bob?
Yeah.
It's kinda like Shanghai
Sometimes
or
I'll let
something.
people
right?
It's fall, but it's not my favorite,
Um,
because I don't like winter coming.
While we're doing this, Lindsay and Alan will not be here this morning, so this is probably our group day. And big deal is coming up, of course, of these field trips, and so I was gonna get the names up there, and then since we're gonna have at least two people not there, Alan and Jill, I thought we'd kind of see how things shake out, and maybe I'll just be the utility infielder or something, fill in where.
Looks like we need you at the boardroom right now.
Okay.
Are you leaving town?
No, I'm saying I gotta wait and see if there's any holes.
Are you-
Oh,
Are
okay.
you gonna be the greeter when, since Chris will not be here for at least two of them?
I could do that. Do you wanna do it?
I don't even know these people. I haven't been associated with the schools
Well,
since 1990.
Nobody else does either. This bunch of little kids get off the bus and you say, shut up.
Yeah, blow your whistle, do I have your attention? Now sit down, shut up. Oh, no. No,
And I
you
said with
can't do
love,
that.
I said with care.
That's what I do at home. Doesn't work.
Doesn't work, yeah.
Yeah, we'll already be there. We can do that too, Joe.
Somebody has to
We can
know
figure that out.
the teachers and kind of divide them up and send them in the right directions.
As we get started, I'll pass around something I got from yesterday's roundtable meeting. The town of Lyons renamed a park for our old friend Laverne Johnson. So there's a deal on that. There's also their current exhibit at Lyons is on the history of cameras. They've got a resident up there who has a house full of antique cameras. So if you're interested, there's that. So why don't we call the meeting to order, and welcome back everybody, you intrepid volunteers, and have Karen do the minutes.
Okay, these are the minutes from August 19th. Meeting was called to order by Chairperson Larry Dorsey. In attendance were commission members Walt Ackerman, Mary Cartwright, Larry Dorsey, Lindsay Llewellyn, Bob Morgan, Katie Olson, Jill Roberts, Errol Walagorski, and Karen Walagorski. Staff, Brian Meyer. Town Board Member Joe Sorelli. And others, David Cartwright, Maureen Hogue, and Gail Casana. The minutes of the July 15th meeting were read. Walt Ackerman moved they be approved as amended. Mary Cartwright seconded the motion, and the motion carried. Treasurer's reports were given as follows. Bob Morgan reported that the fire truck account currently has a balance of $202. Brian reported that there is $1,393.01 in the 2016 Historic Preservation account. Capital Improvement account has a balance of $5,000. Old business debriefings were discussed. There were approximately 5 visitors at the July 16th museum opening and approximately 15 at the August 6th opening, including Danny Kupner's granddaughter. It was actually Danny and his granddaughter, right?
Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna put the "and" in there. No one was present at either the July 21st or August 18th Boulder Heritage Roundtable meetings. Mary Cartwright reported on the ANFRAM meeting held on August 15th at Loveland Historical Society. It was well done, and afterward the group toured the cemetery. The society will do private tours upon request. The September ANFRAM meeting is a workshop. Number 2, the cataloging filing committee did some work this month and got things cleaned up and put away. Number 3, Jill has been working on the oral history video project. She finished organizing the photos and explained a plan to go forward, developing and integrating QR codes on signs of various historic locations throughout the town. Then users with cell phones could scan a code and listen to a speaker provide detailed information about that location. Number 4, there's no news on the Superior Information in Wikipedia project. Number 5, there was a project recap on the fire truck and discussion of having it shown in the Rocky Mountain Auto Show on November 25th. It is unknown at this time if Mile High Classics will do pinstriping in exchange for the show. It was suggested that the fire truck could be in the Louisville Labor Day Parade next year. Mary also suggested getting the walking cart out for the 4th of July parade next year. Number 6, as of today, the 2nd grade field trips are scheduled for September 22nd, Katie Graff, Superior Elementary, and September 30th, Karen Jones, El Dorado K through 8. A date will be determined soon with Kristen Riley at Monarch. Number 7, Karen announced that a card was mailed to the Cartwrights on the passing of Mary's brother, and a get well card to Cheryl Dorsey on her recent hospitalization. We also wish Bob Morgan the best with his new pacemaker. No additional correspondence is required at this time. 8, members again discussed the museum back porch safety issue and expressed the need for a railing on the east end. Number 9, members agreed that the Grasso Park structures have first priority for 2016 capital improvement projects. Priorities are as follows. Number 1, Grasso Park house gutters. Number 2, gutters on the east side of the museum. And number 3, museum railings. Brian stated that an estimate for Grasso house gutters is $1,580. Number 10, next the museum displays were discussed. Alan is working on finishing things up for the September 3 opening. She and Katie are planning this to be a special event with a back-to-school theme honoring Miss Orman. An ice cream social will take place at noon. Number 11, members discuss potential projects for the Boy Scouts, including cleaning up the Grasso Park barn, as well as installing a railing at the museum. Number 12, Larry announced that there will be an olden days theme at the Agricultural Heritage Center on Highway 66 on September 11th and October 3rd. New business. Staffing for the museum openings on August 20th and September 3rd was discussed. Number 2, the Boulder Heritage Roundtable is scheduled for September 15th. Number 3, Wally reported on a meeting that he and Larry had with Norm Kellett, Lafayette Fire Marshal. He was very excited to see the restored fire truck and had a great deal of information about it and also some pictures from when it was in their possession. He would like to have it brought over to Lafayette to take some pictures and perhaps test out the truck's water pump. He may have a ladder, axe, and wrench to give us. Norm stated that the truck is a 1945 from Howe. Number 4, members discussed the possibility of a Superior Cemetery tour in October. Accessibility to the cemetery is a question. We will look into this issue before the next meeting. Number 5, museum security was discussed briefly as young people have been hanging out in the lower stairway, smoking and making a general mess. The Boulder County Sheriff was notified and all believe this will end with the opening of schools. 6, Katie proposed making note cards of old photos to sell at the museum, similar to those we have been selling of the old house. Number 7, Walt Ackerman moved that the meeting be adjourned at noon. Bob Morgan seconded the motion. Next meeting, September 16th.
That's because we were hungry.
Any additions or corrections to the minutes? Okay. Motion to accept them?
I so move.
I second.
Okay, all in favor say aye.
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 Hey.
I surprised you, though, didn't I?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Karen. And once again, on the, very good job on the minutes, and I guess we'll just go on through the agenda. Everybody get an agenda? Okay. Mr. Morgan?
Ready? Okay. The new balance for the fire truck account is $268.00. There was a total deposit of $66. It was from cash donations, DVD sales, cookbook sales, and card sales. So it totaled up to
Oh,
$66.
Did most of that happen on the 3rd?
Yeah, most of it, yeah. And then there was one book sale that gave the money to Brian.
Just put it in my pocket.
Yeah. He's been on vacation.
Yeah, he said that.
Finances. Hey, Brian, you
Yeah,
addition account?
yeah, historic preservation account balance remains the same at $1,393.01.
Thank you.
and the capital improvement, is that still 5,000?
Yep.
Well, it's September, obviously, and so looks like we have some money in the budget that needs to be expended by December 31st, so need to be thinking about that, don't we?
I have a thought on that, Larry, but
Okay, wait till we
maybe
get
it
to
can wait till,
Okay.
to the, yeah.
Just make a note here. All right. August 20th, we didn't have very many people there, I think. Am I right on that? Just a handful again. That ends the experiment of our twice-a-month opening. The second opening of the month didn't bring in a lot of people, but we gave it a shot. We'll revisit that, I guess, next spring. And see want to continue to do that. September 3rd, I got a real nice account from Alan about September 3rd, but why don't you, all of you, just share what you saw happen on that day and how things went?
Quite a few people.
I had a lot of people. I started making an account, and I had 33, but I'm quite sure there was about 40 people that showed up, not counting the commission people that were there.
I'm not counting things.
Yeah, no, it was a good turnout. Had, I think at one time there was 10 of the Old Superior alumni
Great.
school there at one time, you know, and talking.
Mhm.
And, but yeah, it was very successful, I thought.
Yeah, sure.
How'd the ice cream hold up?
It had plenty of ice cream, actually. Had to give a couple boxes away before you took it. Gave Steve and his wife a couple boxes because they were getting soft, at that time.
It was well received, though.
Good.
I had an idea that we sort of need to make a note and talk about it next July, maybe. Because we had so many of the former Louisville school people there, and they just sat down and enjoyed chatting, and it was just great. I wonder if we should have like a reunion every September when we open. A back-to-school reunion, and make sure that those folk are invited at a special time.
I think it'd be good to keep our connections going with them.
Yeah.
I sent some pictures. Did people get them? I'm having some trouble on my email. Did anyone get those pictures?
I don't believe I
I'll
did.
try and resend them. I took a bunch of the alumni standing up together, and so I'll have to resend them.
Yeah, please do. That's probably might be good too to save those too at the museum.
Mhm.
Yeah, very good. We have to thank Katie and Alan for all their work on
Oh,
this
yeah,
project.
they did a good job, yeah.
Yeah.
One thing I'd like to bring up is, can we establish a price on your cards? Sold some cards, but sold one, I think, for $3 or $4, and the other one for a couple bucks, and it didn't have a price on the,
Should probably sell them for $4.
$4.
So you had some of those ready for?
The packets, even the packets,
I don't know. You mean the ones, the colored ones?
yeah, the ones that, there was about, I can't remember how many cards are in that packet.
Oh, that one with the painting on it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we used to sell those for $5.
Is that $5?
For the packet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because we didn't have
Because
sold very many. So,
Yeah. I do think it was, I kind of got all those things out, and of course, this is my opinion, since I'm in retail, but if you don't put that stuff out, then no one's gonna see it and no one's gonna buy it.
That's true.
Yeah.
So, there were a lot of people that were interested in it, and I think a lot of people do wanna go home with something, and they don't always want that Old Superior, you guys always have that out, but we put those cookbooks out, the DVDs, all the different note cards. I thought it was great, so.
Great.
Yeah.
I don't think we were aware there was any of those cookbooks down there, were we?
I thought they
were
were
the
all.
whole box full.
Still?
Is there?
I thought we'd
Yeah.
given them back to Glenda.
I don't think she wanted to go buy it.
Well,
Down the basement, there's a whole box.
so we were selling those, we sold those cookbooks the museum for $5, I think,
Oh, we
maybe
did.
originally was 10, I'm not sure.
I think that's what I was thinking, was 10.
Uh,
And she wanted all that to go to the fire truck.
Yeah.
Probably why she didn't take it back.
Maybe what we could do if we're gonna put that stuff out for sale is have a little tag or something in there that says cards are this much.
Yeah,
cookbook.
that's what we need.
And that way, there's no confusion as to
Right.
what the price is.
Yeah, we should maybe have a separate table for merchandise or something.
Yeah,
like that.
I would-
Yeah.
That's been part of our problem, finding a space to display it on. We probably should make some copies of that DVD before we run out, too. I think we're down to the last few. find old Derek. Well, wonderful, that was really a great turnout, and I'm sure that the alumni were pleased.
Yeah, I think they had a good visit.
I'm trying to think who all came to, when I did that presentation in Louisville, on the shootout at the Superior Depot. Did you come to that game?
Yes.
Yeah, so Gail and Bob were there, I remember, but then Louise and Laurel and both the Seclucks.
Yeah,
Sisters
Mary
came
was
to
there.
that too,
Mary was
so.
there.
Yeah, there was one guy on Saturday that had never been to the museum before.
Jim Scriffney.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh,
so
Yeah,
that
he
was
there.
nice.
He came in, him and his wife.
did you get a hold of him or something? How do you know?
No, well, I don't know how he got, I think Mary or Helen
Oh,
called him.
okay.
Yeah, he came in.
Well, that's great.
George Kuffner's wife came too.
Yeah, that's right.
So,
That's the first time.
Yeah,
Yeah, wonderful.
The ice cream.
yeah. And then there was the Rodelli girls that came up from Arvada,
No kidding.
Evelyn and Linda Rodelli, they were old timers of Superior.
I know Alan tried to take some notes, but then she had to leave, so I don't know if anyone else tried to take notes.
Well, she sat down a long time, she had a couple pages, I know, she sat down.
I thought Jill was talking to somebody too and maybe taking some.
Wouldn't surprise me, because
Yeah.
yeah, she was.
Yeah,
I don't know if she recorded anything or not.
that I don't know.
well, once again, thanks for the stimulation on that. That was a great project.
Yeah.
We'll have to do more like that.
And thanks to the
In the
town
future.
for sending out that separate email. There was a separate email, did everyone see that? So, we were there that day, that morning, we were moving stuff around, and I got the email, and I was like, oh gosh, we better get this right, because people might actually come.
On the spot.
Yeah.
That's
Now,
up to October, right?
as a little
It's
side
next
note,
month, too.
October.
Yeah.
here a long time ago, I talked to George
Yeah.
about getting some harness to hang in the barn.
Uh-huh.
So while he was there over at the museum, I asked him about that again, and he's gonna look into it.
Okay.
So,
Very good.
Oh, can I make one other, I don't know which direction people come in, but no one could see the tent from, like when I was leaving, I noticed there were lots of people, but it was on the, kind of like right, the house, you couldn't see the tent if you were on Marshall Road. So I don't know how many people just would stop by anyways, but one thought is to move it a little bit so that people at least can see it, and we could get balloons. If we do something like that again, we could get balloons.
Keep that in mind, yeah.
Just
Yeah.
so people know there's something going
Yeah.
on.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Because I couldn't see it at all when I was leaving, so.
So closer to the flagpole kind of
Yeah,
thing?
yeah. Either way, yeah, it just kind of was in that perfect, it was hidden by the house when you were driving by.
Well, I attended the historic roundtable yesterday, and just a couple of things you might find interesting. That the Carnegie Library says they've digitalized about 30% of their, 1/3 of their maps. And so they get their maps digitalized so that they can be accessed electronically and from your home if you want to. So, and also Belmont Butte is in Boulder County, but remember one time they were going to put up a fire training facility there, and they decided not to. So apparently the city is in the process of annexing Belmont Butte into the city.
So it's in the county.
Yeah, they're going to annex it into the city.
Yeah, they've had a lot of,
Yeah, so I thought that
over
was
40 years they've been
interesting.
fighting what to do with that.
So will that be more preserved if it's part of
Yeah.
the city?
Right.
Okay.
And there's the old mill, the Belmont Mill is still there, and it's a Superfund site. It was contaminated, I guess, anyway, so they
Right.
don't know what they're gonna do with that exactly. But the gold extraction mill there.
And there's that cement place.
Yeah.
I took over part of that because they didn't care
Oh, I said it's
Yeah,
still
they were
on
starting
city.
to, we were gonna start to
That's what you
turn
were
that
talking
into
about.
concrete too,
Yeah.
down Mount View, but just
Yeah.
take it down. And then, pass around the stuff about, I learned a very interesting little tidbit, you know, probably most of you, not all of you are familiar with Georgia O'Keeffe, the artist, who's famous for in Mexico, living in New Mexico. She lived in Ward for a while, and one of her paintings is of the Ward Church. 1917, I think, by a while, I think it was just a matter of months or something, but I never had heard that
Yeah,
before.
if you live there a long time.
Yeah, sure. There you go. Well, Gail, would you like to address number 2?
Oh, boy, we've been so busy. A few other things have gotten in the way, right?
Yeah.
All right, really, that's a misnomer, but, you know, when you were talking about how so many people turned out for the school, I thought, gee, with all your upcoming programs, anytime you can invite people who have a direct connection to those artifacts, I think that's a great way for people to stay connected, that history isn't just over, it's still with us. Gee, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
We haven't worked since last time, have we, since our last meeting? So.
Almost hit under the table, but.
But we had, everybody's got things to do. Anything new on the oral history video project?
No, Jill has assigned all of us different things to narrate for the QR thing.
Oh, okay.
And Wally, you've got the, like the farm equipment, and I've got the
I do.
Grasso buildings, and she assigned those to us on September
I
3rd.
mentioned that Walt
Yeah,
knows
Walt's- and
about
Walt's
the farm
got-
equipment too, so.
Yeah, so,
I'm working with Joe on that
Okay.
after I got back. I might say, on this trip we just did, in the 2 small towns, one in Nova Scotia and one in Quebec, they had these QR codes on.
Oh, yeah?
And they were small towns, like 1,700 people, so they didn't have a lot of people to do tours. And the one in Quebec, we were there on Sunday, and so stuff was open, and there were people around church and museums and stuff, but they had these little QRs, so I tried them on my cell phone, and that was very, very interesting, because they gave most of them were about 3 minutes. There were a couple that were 5 minutes, like the church was 5 minutes. And you could stand there and look at them, and the church was open, but nobody was, there was one person in there watching, so you could go in with your cell phone and they explained the different things inside the church for you.
It worked pretty well, huh?
It worked excellent. It was just amazing how well that worked, because they you could walk down the street and tell you, go to this next intersection or halfway down, you know, that kind of thing. And we went to another one was the Yost House, where one of the original people settled that village in the 1700s, and it was a gorgeous house, and they you could go through the house with it. They had it fixed so that you could go through the house, and as you went through the house, you heard about the rooms. They had a Wi-Fi or something that you didn't lose it when you went in the house. So it worked really, really well. I was impressed. I'd never done it before, but because we're thinking about it, I'll try these a couple. There was another one in Sydney, which was kind of interesting as well. But both of them worked
Keep
well.
moving in that direction then, huh?
Yeah, I think it makes a whole lot of sense.
Well, it sure does, yeah. Hopefully it's not outmoded by the time we get it done. Some new technique go on or something like that. But thanks, Walt. Anything new on the Wikipedia project?
is there anything new on the project?
Oh, no, not today, no.
Okay, thank you.
Fire truck, anything new in the fire truck
Yeah, I haven't heard, I haven't
It's just
heard.
the article I brought, very not related.
Right, okay.
Okay, Brian.
No, yeah, I haven't heard back from Mile High Classics on the car show. So I know he's reach out to them. So even if we can enter the fire truck, I mean, logistically, I guess we'll have to see how that's going to work. You know, getting the truck over there and you know, potentially doing the pinstriping and whatnot. So
Yeah.
you know, I don't know how realistic it is this year, but again, I don't have any more information on it since last meeting, so.
And we have a bookmark, whatever it's called, in the budget for the proposed budget for the fire truck for 2017.
Yeah, I don't know for sure. I'll have to, let me talk with Patrick. I'm not sure if there's been any designated, you know, funds for that next year or not. There could be, but after this past year, you know, the 25, I don't know. So let me get back to you guys on that.
We're continuing it into next year, but we might have to take a year off or something like that after the hard hit we took.
Yeah. Maybe, yeah. I think the exhaust issue for sure. I know we mentioned getting the exhaust looked at. That's probably first priority, I think. So.
All right, thank you. Second grade field trips, you know, I apologize for that coming up on 2 consecutive days. What happened was that Monarch said they couldn't do it after all on the 27th. I think they're having visual screening day or something like that day. And so when I shot that to Brian, he shot back the open dates, and I gave that over to Kristen, and then she said, how about the 23rd? I said, okay, and then it wasn't until later I realized it was 2 straight days. So hope everybody's got their, and eat their Wheaties and take the Geritol and stuff like that for those 2 days. So at this point, like I said, since I know that the way Jill talked, if I interpreted her email correctly, they'll be out of the country and barely get back in time for one of them. She has to work. And then Alan has guests, and by the way, Alan's not here today because her son Corey is in from Oregon, who is at the university there. So at any rate, I kind of thought we'd put that up there and see where I might be most needed. So
We probably have to keep Joe on the straight and narrow by the looks of it.
yeah,
It's
those board guys, I don't know. They
Yeah, right.
start talking, you know, the politicians. Get
Will Chris be there to help you?
He's out of town the first 2 days for sure. I think he might be there on the 30th.
I think so.
Mayor Folsom, I think, is planning to be there.
Okay, good.
I think all 3 days, but is that what you heard?
Yes, and you are all 3 days also, so.
Yeah.
So the mayor and the trustees have the board covered, it sounds like. So, you know, in the past, I've always been at Grasso Park, but it's like,
You want to go in the jails, huh?
yeah, Mary often is at Grasso, so.
Yeah, but the museum is a minimum of 3 at the museum because it's better to have 2 people out at that table with the school display, and then you need 2 in the house, ideally.
And that's why I was wondering if Wally and Walt could handle Grasso, I would help at the museum. I think we'll get by 2 at Grasso, we have in the past anyway, and it's usually often if it's Wally and me, so. What do you, I've never done the Asti Museum before, so you think you need 4?
Well,
You can.
we can, I don't know, Bob and I have done the park,
Uh-huh.
that's plenty, and even one of us could do the park. I don't know how many, I've never done the museum, so I don't know how many do you need?
You need at least 2 because,
Yeah,
yeah.
least 2.
Maybe I should,
Inside.
And I think to keep track of what's
Mm.
going on.
Yeah.
maybe I should be in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the time
Will
frame?
you send
Have
it
you
out
got-
in an email for maybe Lindsay, who else are we
Well,
missing?
Lindsay and Jill, or Lindsay and Alan are gone today, and Jill. Yeah, Lindsay might be available, I think. I will send that out. They're planning on arriving at 10 o'clock.
And when?
10 o'clock?
10?
10, okay.
Yeah, well, before 10, so we can get started at 10 o'clock.
Oh, okay. It seemed like it, maybe I'm wrong. It seemed like it was always earlier before.
I thought it was 9 in the past.
Yeah, that's what I thought. But between 9 and 9:30, the bus would
Yeah.
arrive?
So
We're
they're,
gonna start at 9:30.
so they're really done in time to go out for their lunch.
Don't just spend half an hour at each place, that's travel.
Yeah,
That's- I can review that thing, if they want to come earlier.
well, I think the real question is,
The bus.
do they have to be back at a certain time? Because they
Yeah.
want to go to lunch at the park, the weather's nice, that's the key.
Yeah.
But then you mentioned in the email 10 to 12, so, you think they would speak up if that was too late?
Yeah.
The kids have a tendency to get hungry by about 11:15.
Yeah,
They
but-
start
That's
They
true.
do.
needing.
Yeah.
I was going to say, by the
Okay.
time the last group hits the
Yeah.
museum, their attention span is not there.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
really.
Definitely
Well,
true.
it doesn't matter to us, really, does it? It's more how it fits the bus schedule and that kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know how big the groups are going to be yet?
Yeah, I'd have to go back and look at my notes, but I think all three of them are in the 70 to 80 range this time, so not as big as we've had in the past, so.
Well, it's 3 big groups. And
Yeah, but there was that one year, El Dorado had over 100. I think they had 4 rounds, 4 teachers. This year they each has 3. I think Monarch said it was 70, and Superior at 80. I can't remember what El Dorado said. Well, so it sounds like you'd like me to check with them if they'd like, see if they'd like to come earlier. We
I'll
can-
just make sure they're good with the time. I mean, I'm not asking for more punishment.
Yeah, Larry, in my notes, and then in previous years, it's always been like a 9:30 arrival time.
Okay.
If the bus gets here. So,
Okay, thanks.
yeah.
Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, in fact, that's safer, because I remember one bus kind of disappeared for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, it doesn't give you much flexibility if it's right down to the minute.
Again, the bus oftentimes dictates what they can do,
Yeah,
because they got to
exactly.
fit into the schedule. Okay, I'll check
And
on
then
it. So
pray for good weather.
so you all just need to count on 9 to 12 though, because it's set up, especially if you set up the tent outside again. So,
Then Wally and for the park, I'll make sure I have the jail cell and I'll have all that unlocked for you guys, so you don't have to
Okay.
scramble around for keys those
Okay.
mornings, so.
Got your billy club.
Well, it's in the museum there someplace.
yeah, it's in the closet with the furnace closet.
Oh, okay. I'll get it out maybe and
Polish it.
polish it up a little bit, put some lacquer on it.
Get all the blood and hair out. of it.
Yeah.
She
Yeah,
liked that one.
yes, you did. Now, as we're doing Grasso Park, what all are we gonna have open over there? We gonna have the house open and the barn, or just the house, or how are we handling that?
I would recommend if you, well, usually the jail, the house, and the outhouse. are
Yeah,
unlocked.
right, in the,
Now,
meat
the
cellar.
barn,
cellar.
if you unlock the barn, I guess I'd say don't let them in the barn,
Yeah, they could look in the door.
because those
Yeah.
floorboards are loose.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying, I don't know if we even wanna do the barn, I just thought I'd ask to see what all we wanna have going over there.
And usually, what Wally and I usually did was to take that group and divide it into 2 small groups
Yeah,
and rotate those, so, by the time you do that, there may not be enough time to do more of this looking.
well, and
I
that's
think it's
okay.
up to you guys. You
Yeah,
wanna
that's
have it
okay,
open?
if we don't have time for the barn, we just won't open it.
Yeah.
That's why I just wanted to know what we had to have open.
We could just say the barn's not open
Yeah.
because it's being repaired.
But that's where they kept the
I would,
cows.
open the barn if you guys can, because kids wanna look inside.
I
Give them
like-
every, not go in, but that would be, I
There's
would have whatever open you can, because,
too many hazards in that barn, I think.
Yeah.
What I did last year was I just stood inside the door, and so I was sort of the physical barrier, and they could peek around, but that,
That's what I was gonna say,
Yeah.
I think we should have the door open
yeah.
and then just make sure nobody.
Yeah, I'll just unlock everything and then
Yeah.
Yeah, it's easy.
Unlock everything and go from there.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll get back in touch with if I,
Wally and
See
I
what
can
I've
take
learned.
care of any kids that misbehave.
Yeah.
That's right, we can swap uses with that billy club.
That's right.
That's what jail's for.
why there's a
Yeah.
lock for the jail, right?
Perhaps this year, I mean, we have done it in the past, but we maybe should emphasize to the teachers that are there and the parents that are with them that they really have to keep, and we have to do it in the right way, that the kids are more under control.
Right.
So much of it's the teacher, that you
Yeah.
the teacher's with the group too, so.
Oh, now, one other thing, and I may direct this to Brian. When we open the jail cell, is there any way that we could possibly have a piece of plywood cut to put in that on the bunks?
Oh, yeah.
Because
Oh, yeah.
they can sit on it, they can lay on it, but invariably they want to stand on it, which is not going to hurt the bunk, but with those open slats in there, somebody slips down in there and it's just going to tear them up, and I don't
Got some
think,
scrap plywood around, you think?
Yeah, I'll check with the parks guys, we might, yeah.
doesn't have to be anything pretty, or, well, we don't want slivers in it, but,
Just a 3/4 inch.
yeah.
3/4 inch thick piece of plywood.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't even have to be that thick, but it's just a precaution, because
Sure.
last year I was on them, well, I shouldn't say on them, but you can't stand on it, and they will,
Crazy,
if you tell them not to, they will do it.
That's right.
like anything else with kids,
Something
they
like you
say,
did,
don't
right?
do
Yeah.
that, they don't hear the
It's
dump
like,
part.
do not touch the coal in the mine cart.
Oh, yeah.
You will get dirty. Yep, we want to get dirty.
Well, thanks ahead of time for all the work on these field trips, and thanks for bringing up Lindsay. I'll make sure that I can see if she's available or not. Karen?
No correspondence this month. Is anything needed now? Have we had any donations that we need to? Okay.
No, I can't think of anything. Anything else? I think we covered all that, all the donations. Okay, back porch update from Brian.
I mean, I haven't heard from that Eagle Scout. Have you heard anything from,
No.
I think, yeah. We'll probably almost, make that just be an in-house thing, the railing.
Yeah,
Um,
that's what I think, Brian.
Yeah. So still, I think, we'll have to check on the sloping concern of that deck there. I haven't got Matt out there yet to do that. I know the railing's kind of a higher priority. This kind of bleeds into the capital improvement project, just a thought that I was thinking of. So the gutters on the museum and the house could both be completed for $4,300, and there's $5,000 in that capital improvement account. So I know we talked about just the east side of the museum, but so both of those structures could be done, all of it, for $4,300. I say that only because I don't know how realistic we can get that railing up there. I know it's a safety issue, but I don't know how quickly we can get the railing and have it approved, if it needs to be period specific or not, and then in light of the sloping issue, so let's say all the gutters are done, and $4,300, well, that still leaves some money in there for a railing to possibly be done this year. There's also the $1,300 in the preservation account that also could be potentially applied to it as well. Or the railing, if not this year, could be just early next year. So just a thought. I know with the gutters, the guy I've been working with, he's been out of the office for the last 3 weeks. So I was talking to Larry. We will get it done, obviously preferably in the fall here. I want to meet with him one more time on site because I just want to confirm, and that maybe I'll see if you want to join as well, Larry, just to confirm the style and exactly what they're doing. Just my thoughts. I was just thinking, I don't know how the railing, if it's going to be this year or not, but even if it is, like I said, the gutters could be done, all of them.
Well, with that leftover in the happening in our budget, you know, we can afford to do it.
Yeah,
But we have to get it squared first, because that dropping of the porch, the railing wouldn't be squared to the building, so.
yeah, and even like, I know there was that issue with the painter, because he painted that front, or painted the porch there, and if you look, some of that paint's been chipping over the last few months, but I did confirm that the part of the irrigation pattern over there does hit that porch, so I think that's what caused that, so. I did tell the painter, because he was gonna repaint it, I told him to hold off in light of some of this other stuff now, but,
And one thing about that is that other paint lasted longer, better, but I think.
True,
it's
yeah.
because it was lead-based paint too.
yeah.
So,
I mean, I don't think it's as simple as just like, oh, let's just put up a wrought iron black railing, I think,
yeah,
but,
let's make sure we get Brian, Matt to look at that. So
Yeah, yeah,
We have
yeah.
to do that in-house too, so.
yeah.
So step
So-
one is to
so-
raise the thing?
Well, like, yeah,
Raise it?
it is sloping, which has caused a couple of the floorboards to pop up.
That's not true, it is, I suspect it's from the irrigation.
Yeah. Mhm.
And what you probably have to do is dig it out, put some concrete down below.
First,
Jack the porch
Yeah.
up and put some concrete
Yeah.
below
I
it.
kind of think so too, so.
good footers.
Yeah.
So as far as I'm concerned, I think that's an appropriate use of some of our
Yeah, I agree with
fundage
Yeah.
there too, so we get that solved.
Yeah, for sure. So I get that, like, but as far as going back to the gutters, like, should we do the whole shebang for the 4,300, or just what we kind of talked about last month with just doing the east side of the museum?
I do the whole thing.
Do the whole
So
thing.
4,300 would do the.
Yeah, 43, yeah, it's like 4386, yeah.
My camp house too?
But they're having
Yeah.
to trim the trim?
That is true, yeah. They're gonna have
Trim
to,
the shingles.
Is that bad?
I think it's just necessary.
More
It's
I looked
okay.
at it, I don't think so.
I would agree go with the whole thing.
Okay.
We have the money, let's use it before we lose it.
yeah.
Katie, it's just a matter of, it'll probably run a circular saw and probably take
Yeah.
off an inch and a half or 2 inches. So.
It probably won't be noticeable, but it is to make the gutters work how they should,
Well,
you
you
know.
have to do that so
Yeah.
that the water goes in the gutter where you want it to go. You always have to remember when you do these projects, water will go where it wants to go. You gotta figure out where you want it to go.
It's always downhill.
Well, it sounds like there's consensus on that, to tell Brian just go ahead
Okay.
and do both,
Yeah.
both houses completely.
Okay.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'll have some more concrete, yeah, I'll get on their schedule, and our parks guy's been pretty busy lately with Chili Fest and whatnot, but I'll have them look at the sloping
Yeah,
issue.
please do.
Yeah,
Yeah, and we would, Alan and I were talking about, we would love to get another display, we mentioned this maybe a few meetings back, some other type of display table. So I don't know what budget that, it wouldn't be it'd probably just be a used one, but we do need one more display table, so. You guys
Wonder if
said
we could-
sometimes there's you get emails.
What if we could find something
Think-
like the
we
Logger
can
flea
ask.
market or something like that, you know, an
Yeah.
antique table, or a vintage table at least. Yeah, we should,
Just a vintage, a display table or a case? Or just-
I don't know. I don't really know yet.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be nice to be a case that we could use the top, but there could be something underneath. We're just thinking for kind of that rotating area where the Orman poster is.
Mhm.
Right now, we just put that desk, which, that was just for looks. But it would be nice to either start using it for some merchandise, or, so to get 2 tables, or one to, just start having some rotating stuff in a case or on a table. So I don't know what we're looking for yet, but
well, I think you should pursue that, because
Yeah.
like we were talking earlier about the merchandise, I mean,
something.
Yeah.
that too, because
Yeah,
I'll try
pretty
and be looking
haphazard.
around a little.
Yes, it is.
If you guys see anything in the emails that people are getting rid of things, or if you wanna ask, it'd be nice.
There won't be reports at the AmFam on Monday, will there, since it's.
Doesn't sound like it, yeah. But could probably have a little quick, hey, if anybody has an extra, we
Yeah.
wouldn't mind kind of appeal,
Yeah.
yeah. Remember that then. Yeah.
Oh, and speaking of, hadn't we talked about getting that big display case out before the field trips? Out of the barn.
Where would it go?
I don't know, the trash.
Ryan, is there a town dumpster?
Yeah, don't tell anybody about it. It's,
Those
there's
are
one
really
at the
secret.
treatment plant at our public works superintendent. Yeah, there's a big roll-off,
Roll-off.
in the very back, yeah. There's miscellaneous junk left around.
I think consensus, or people have looked at it lately, is don't feel like it's worth keeping.
Yeah, it's not worth it. And it's too big for most.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Museums I've seen.
That's why it's there in the first place, it's too big, yeah.
Nobody's gonna buy it.
No. Well, now, we also in there, along with that case, don't we have an old stove in there that we maybe decided that we'd like to get rid of? Because all its parts on it's missing,
I think there's an old
TV set in there.
cook stove. and-
But-
He said,
The cook stove we could use in the house though, and just put some bricks under that
Oh, yeah, we talked about
leg,
putting that in the
which they might
Grassl
have
Park
done,
areas,
yeah, in those
Are you
days.
talking about that little round one? Yeah.
No, it was
There's
a
a
cook
cook stove
stove.
in there, isn't there?
Oh,
think so.
okay. Just maybe I forgot about that.
Yeah.
But the one I'm talking about, I think it's just a little round, kind of like a pot village stove, unless we've already gotten rid of it.
I'm not remembering that one, I guess.
So I was just gonna say, if we're gonna get rid of that, maybe at the same time, if there's room, we ought to get rid of it, if we decide to get rid of the stove. And wasn't there an old TV set in there?
Yeah,
By old TV set, this means from the 50s or 60s or something. It's
Yeah.
a wooden cabinet, as I recall.
Yeah, so if we don't want that, if that doesn't fit into the time span in the house, which I don't think it does,
Right.
maybe we don't want it. Well, I'm just saying, maybe that'd be time to get rid of all that. It's a thought, we don't necessarily have to.
I don't know if there's some we can pull off between now and September 22nd.
Well, if we can't, we can't, but when we decide to do it, it should maybe all just go.
Yeah, so we probably need to do another field trip to the barn and decide what's wrong. It seems like that one of those stoves is in pieces.
I think so. I think that's one that I got from Lafayette.
Is there any way perhaps the oversized display case could be with an expert carpenter and maybe glazier, could be tailor-made to fit something in the museum?
Then you
So
have to cut the
something
glass
that's-
and everything down too.
yeah, that's what I said.
It's a
Glacier,
liability
yeah.
into an asset. I mean, it obviously has all the necessary bits and pieces. You just need somebody with the expertise who can.
You know, it's not very nice. I wouldn't save it. I don't think it's worth, it's not as nice, you know, the brown one with all the mining equipment that's in there now? I was hoping that's what that one would be. It's, the paint, it's not,
So you've got some bare wood that like.
I was trying to
maybe
look for a
patched
picture. It's
with,
not very
plywood
old
something.
or
Yeah, it's-
worthy of,
Yeah.
my opinion of spending money.
Plus the raccoons and I think and the mice and stuff had been in there pretty heavy.
I
And
wouldn't spend any money
No.
on it.
David, I think that's a nice idea, but I think it's kind of beyond that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a picture of it.
But
Yeah,
I-
it's pretty rickety.
Yeah, I forgot it was as cruddy as it was.
If it was as nice as that,
The one we have.
it doesn't really,
I'm sure we could do better looking for a different one to replace it.
Yeah.
it's kind of like this brown lacquer.
that's nothing special.
No,
I think we could just buy, if we were gonna spend money
I
on
think
someone
that's why it's in
fixing
the
it.
barn.
Yeah, yeah, in the first place, yeah.
It was not that Dave Yovitz from Lafayette.
Yeah.
In my truck.
Yep, we did.
Historic Boulder has sales every once in a while. And there was one recently, I think, and I meant to send that out to everybody. You know, I don't know what kind of stuff is there, but that's a potential to get stuff.
You know, it's interesting you mention that because yesterday at Roundtable, they were talking about, Historic Boulder has a warehouse out in Gun Barrel full of all their surplus stuff, which, you know, they'll have more place for it with the new museum when that happens. But in the meantime, they've done a lot of stuff there. The Gold Hill guys talk about how they got the cash register there from Gold Hill. They finally convinced them to loan it to the Gold Hill Museum over the summer, but I wonder if they wouldn't have anything like that.
You could send an inquiry to them and see if they'd have anything they'd part with.
Yeah,
It'd be
And,
interesting to go look.
yeah.
yeah, and we'd have some more money come January
Mhm.
to actually, you know, purchase. Yeah, good idea.
Let me follow up on that. Okay, Katie, got any new ideas?
I think in November, we're planning to do a military theme.
Oh, yeah.
So that's all, we haven't talked, that's the plan. Around Veterans Day, maybe, we can make it another event. When is the museum open, the first Saturday or the second?
First.
First. So Veterans Day is Friday the 11th,
Oh, it is.
so that's off a little bit, but we could do we can do anything.
Do anything we want to.
What do we want to
Wait a
do?
minute, which month?
I mean, we're definitely gonna do the display, a new exhibit
This is November.
with World War, you know, talking about World War I, World War II.
How about-
Did you say
How
February?
about Vietnam?
That too,
And the Forgotten War, Korea,
and that one too.
First is October.
What else have I
Civil War.
missed? Sure, yeah.
I don't think we have anybody.
Well, first Saturday.
Very,
Very,
of
yeah.
course.
You were talking in November.
November. October will still be the Orman exhibit, and then November will be, a military theme. And we were gonna incorporate some of the Bruno,
Yeah.
material.
Yeah, so the
ration
5th is our
Yeah.
open day, and the 11th is the Veterans Day, so we think about having open both times? Good.
Or we could still just do a Veterans Day theme
On the 5th.
on the 5th.
Sure,
We could bring the fire truck over, we could do a car show. I mean, that's more involved, but you know, you could do something related to, we can do anything. I don't know.
I think we should do that, that's.
Yeah, and Mr. Morgan donated some stuff, I think that would be really nice
If
on
there-
display.
if you can use it, yeah.
What was that, Mr. Morgan?
Oh, it was the invasion plans of
Oh, right.
Japan,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
and then there were some photos of a torpedo squadron, you know, not from this area, but, you know.
Yeah, but there's
I
still
mean, you can have
veterans.
that.
There's still veterans.
Yeah, oh, yeah, yeah.
And
and
some really neat,
and it's-
what would you call them, posters or prints or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah, yeah. So, yeah, I mean, sure.
We could have the American Legion or VFW crew come over and do something by the flag, to the flagpole.
That would be nice.
At a certain, at 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock or something like
I think
Yeah,
there's there's a group in Louisville, isn't there?
that. American Legion.
Veteran of foreign wars or American Legion.
I think it's American Legion. I think the VFW in Lafayette finally disbanded because
Oh,
they're all too old.
oh, all right.
Well, I'll try and
Yeah, there's
email
American Legion
Alan this
folks
week
on
about it.
Louisville. Yeah, there's a case. Proceed.
What is that that's out on, South Boulder Road East? On the right-hand side, there's a isn't that a VFW out there?
South Boulder Road.
Because I was talking to Ed about it. He said they had been out to visit it.
South Boulder Road.
On the way to, when we go on the way to Famous Dave's or, remember we go out South Boulder Road and keep going east until we run out of road. And on the right-hand side, there's a VFW.
Oh, that's right. I think that's right.
Yeah.
Unless
And that
was
still
Broomfield or
exists.
something like that.
Oh,
Broomfield or
in Lafayette.
I think that's Lafayette, I don't know, what's east of,
Yeah, that'd be Lafayette.
Yeah,
east of Public Road.
okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Lafayette.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm with you
Oh,
now.
is that where they relocated when they
I think
got
so.
out of the old one?
Yeah.
They know, Post restaurants now and what used to be the theater.
Right.
If you can't contact anyone there,
They're available anyway.
perhaps
Yeah.
the Veterans Museum in Broomfield could help too.
Oh, that's, yeah, that'd be a real good idea, because
Yeah.
they've done a lot of,
Yeah.
yeah.
So probably Alan and I will start working on some stuff and then we'll do a flyer again. I think we were a little behind, when we started talking about things at the meeting in August. You know, we only had 2 or 3 weeks, so hopefully we could get a flyer to all of you guys before the next meeting and start promoting it a little bit. And then go ahead.
Yeah, and could I suggest that with all the hard work you all do, that you don't put away the Miss Ormond stuff? Maybe move that big poster to the school room.
Sure.
Because on a normal Saturday, we have maybe 5, maybe 10 people. So over the course of a few months, not very many will have seen it. This last Saturday was it. And there was a lot of work and a lot of good information on that.
Yeah,
So, you know, bring in the new one, but don't get rid of the old one.
yeah.
In the same, you
Of course,
know,
the old one
with
will
your
come
other
back in
exhibit.
again next year too, so.
Yes, but, yeah, for, you know, a little while, yeah.
Regarding the Veterans Day too, I think it'd be great if there were some veterans there, of which we have several,
We do.
in case families brought their children. I think it's
And-
wonderful to
yeah.
have a living history,
Yeah,
so
good.
to speak,
There's 4 right there, that
where
might,
they could talk about it from each one.
limited amount. What National Guard guys in or not.
Do you know, is there any record of anybody from Superior who served in the First World War as the 100th anniversary is coming up?
When we did the flag, put the flagpole, do we gather any information from that?
We weren't able to find any World War I, and there's just a handful of World War II.
Yeah, I don't know whether there's any of them around now or not, really.
Yes.
Well, I meant sort of,
Just the names, huh?
somebody we
Just the
could
Oh, the names,
focus
yeah.
on the history of.
Did Ted Esty serve?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
I
well,
thought so.
And Ted
yeah,
was in
Ted,
World War II.
Ted now, he's a World War II.
But yes, I was just
Yeah,
wondering if
he-
we had anybody from World War I we could
That's
post
really
a
hard
brief.
to find.
No, I think Dave's talking more about having names.
Just names.
Names, yeah, okay, yeah, yeah.
Do you know?
Well, you still have Ted's name in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was a vet of World War I.
Okay, Maureen
George
said,
Butner,
We did some research on
BRDN.
that, there's a lot of veteran sites
Live down
available.
the street from my great
Somebody didn't have to-
aunt.
Have to sign up, enroll, or buy a membership or something like that. Yeah.
Bridget probably would know. I know in the
George
Louisville
Butner.
Cemetery, there's a monument to World War I veterans.
BRDNER, a fellow
From
my
Louisville,
grandfather said.
So maybe they would have included,
They
He
may
fought
include
in
superior
France,
people in
but-
that, yeah.
but she would know, I'm sure.
That's a
Yeah.
good idea, too.
okay, and Maureen
That
is,
was in Louisville when I was a child. Don't know what happened to him. But I've seen the name Butner on some things here in the parks. You can see
okay,
it.
thank you. Maureen said a fellow named George Bodner.
George,
served-
G-E-O-R-G.
served in
George
World War
Butner,
I.
yeah.
From Superior.
I don't know
He
if
lived
the
down the
house
road
where
from
he
her
lived in
grandparents.
Louisville is still
And then-
standing. I need to go drive past
Well,
it.
Okay,
Sometimes you
thank
could ask the second graders, when I take them to the flagpole, I'll ask them if they have people in their families, and a lot of them will say, oh, my grandfather was in this, and my great-grandfather was in.
Oh, you're
World War II."
welcome,
They're-
yes.
Some of those kids are pretty knowledgeable about it.
yeah, and especially when we have
Yeah.
monarchs, because that's the kids from here,
Yeah.
when the monarch school tours,
Right.
yeah.
And a few years ago, probably 10 years ago or more now, that Louisville put out that video of all the
Yes.
somebody, in case you hadn't heard this, somebody had a home camera and they recorded it every time somebody came home on leave or whatever, they got them on film, and so they got a DVD.
You know, we could
She
put up
puts
our
that on
TV.
display, it's in the museum.
Mhm.
We could get a copy of that, I'm sure, and, because we have our TV just for that purpose, and have that
Yeah,
running
have
that day.
playing, that's not a bad idea.
Yeah, it's really telling,
I may have
because
a copy of that someplace.
Mary Trevine, who was in the war too, she
Mhm.
was killed. She's highlighted with her brother, I think, Bill, who was in the war.
It seems like they might have mentioned a couple of names of Superior in
I
there.
think so.
Yeah, I'm trying
Yeah.
to remember. World War
But,
II for
Yeah,
sure.
we have our TV set down in the basement, we could set up something where they could have that just perpetually in a looping.
Okay,
Yeah. Good idea.
sounds good. And maybe we can do some, depending on the weather, maybe we could still do the tent, it all, you know,
Sure.
and have something out there,
Absolutely.
popcorn, we could do something.
I think so.
So, yeah, I'll keep you guys updated.
Who has a popcorn maker on wheels?
Yeah, those are cool.
Ooh, Doc popcorn, jalapeno popcorn.
We just gave ours to
Oh, did you really? Too late. All right, very good, this is exciting, let's get these ideas out. Access to the cemetery tour in October, is anybody up
Hey.
for that? Well, good,
Wally and I went,
okay.
or tried to get there,
Oh, yeah?
and you
Can't
cannot get there
From this, from the,
I was talking to
from this side.
from this side?
Patrick and
Oh,
Matt yesterday about it, and they said they thought something could be worked out. So I don't know if any of you have talked to them. I specifically asked about whether we'd be able to do a cemetery tour and whether there'd be access, and they were pretty positive about it, particularly Patrick.
They've been working on it Wednesday and yesterday, and they checked this morning, but they were on the terrace part, they had bulldozer up, small bulldozer up there pushing dirt.
Up around the cemetery?
Yes, around the edge where it ended, they dug the slope out, we were afraid
Yeah.
stuff was gonna fall out.
Yeah.
So they kept that terrace there, and they were riding big vehicles on it yesterday.
Uh,
So you guys went, you tried to go from
Okay,
this
we
trail,
tried to go last weekend
from this trail right
from
here.
this side.
Yeah, no,
And
We
something,
took 2 or 3 different
yeah,
roads.
something's gotta be
And
fixed
we
up.
could not get
Yeah,
there.
they
But you
have
can
to-
access it from
No.
90,
No, you
No,
can't.
88th?
yeah.
You can't, they,
Or the
Okay,
fence
so
up
There's a
there.
fence between the bike path and,
Yes,
Okay.
there is.
Yeah.
but Patrick thought that some kind of crossing could be set up for the tour. So it was just a question of following up.
So should we email the town, I mean, email them and see? Haven't we chosen a potential date?
Well, I think, I guess, to me, the first question is yes or no on doing it.
well, I would really like to see what the access is.
I did not hear a no yesterday when I asked if it was possible.
And I think then they have to figure out it, because at the present moment, it's not accessible.
Yeah.
The easiest way actually is to park at the hospital and walk over the bridge and down the path a little bit. But
Superior
that's got a fence
Cemetery.
there, and they'd have to
And
take a fence down
we
to get to it.
talking about parking at the ice rink and working a crossing from
Yeah,
there.
and I was gonna say, that's the other thing that I have seen so far, is if we could use, if they parked on the other end of the ice rink, and there was some way to access it from the other end of the,
That's a long hike especially for
Well, I
older
think-
people to walk from the
Well-
ice rink up to the
I
cemetery.
think you guys gotta be specific about when you'd like to do it and can it be done, and then,
yeah,
and then you'll get an answer.
yeah.
So we're gonna be open on October 1st. So the dates would be 8th or what, 15th or something.
I think the 22nd was the tentative date determined last month,
Yeah.
Saturday the 22nd.
Okay, I guess we can still go into next month before nailing it down definitely then.
Except as Joe
Who's
said,
interested in do people want to do this?
It's
good question.
Sure, we haven't done it for, 2
We
years
have to have good crowds.
We haven't done it for what, 3 years now?
Yeah.
Dawn?
Yeah, since the
Over 3
construction
years,
started.
yeah.
So,
Well, ever
It's
since
fun
he
to
started.
do if you can get there.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
But we also had 2 rainouts
Yeah.
there too, so.
Yeah.
Which is always a positive.
So
Yeah.
if we say it's the 22nd, I mean, obviously it depends, but I think, Joe, if we, right, if we email, who, Patrick?
Patrick, well, or
I mean,
Ryan can talk.
I don't, yeah, I think,
More importantly.
I'll just
Matt.
email Matt, yeah, the town manager.
Okay,
and,
and just see if it's possible.
He can talk with Patrick, yeah.
Okay.
To see if it's possible, I mean.
So you can handle it? You'll email him?
Oh,
Or
he
you want
can
me to?
handle it all.
Sorry.
This is not gonna be a surprise to me.
No, it's not, yeah, you're right, yeah.
And
I think before
I
you,
think some dialogue has to go on though about if they think they can do something, whether what they can do
Yeah.
will meet your needs too. you
Yeah.
know.
yeah, where we can park.
Oh, the parking is, there's
parking,
parking.
they're playing parking.
Yeah, but I
There's
thought we were
established-
talking
But the parking
about
isn't
driving
up
up.
above, the parking is down below.
Yeah,
Yeah,
And
I thought we
that's
talked
a
about
hike
driving
for
it.
some people.
well, like, yeah, I didn't-
but if they make, maybe we use a cart to get people up there, if they make a path that goes up the side of the hill, that's what I would say.
What about the new, call-in ride? Could they deliver people over to the other side? Not on the path,
No, 'cause there's
I
no
mean
road
onto
there.
80, oh, cause then you can't get through that way.
yeah, can't
Yeah,
do
the only way you can do the other side is if you cut the fence.
yeah, you can't do, yeah,
You
they
can't do that.
can't do that.
I really think to expect people to park down by the ice rink and then hike up to the cemetery, I don't think it's
No,
gonna
you
work.
have to, that's why you
No.
have to have some discussion is, okay, now we do that, how are we gonna get them up there?
That's right.
And I think that's what I see could be done with the proper slope of the golf cart.
yeah, and of course, the town
Yeah.
staff does have those carts for zipping
Yeah.
around, if they would let us.
If they do that.
I mean,
So-
if they would
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
provide
think
one.
a group of us could meet with
yeah, I
Matt
think you guys
Bagley
need
and
to.
Patrick on this. Maybe meet over there and so we can
Well,
all
I
get a
think we
visual
need
on
to
it.
meet at least with Matt, for sure, because he's the one that's gonna have to make the decision about doing it. And he's the guy that's gotta be the first round, and before you set a date, you gotta figure out when it can be done. And if it can't be done before 1st of November, maybe we don't do it again. So I think that's the first step.
And that meeting needs to happen pretty quickly
Yeah,
in
next
order
week.
to start
Yeah.
getting the word out.
Right.
And are they still planning parking spaces up in front of the cemetery? I'm talking about the developer now. Do we know, we've kind of harped on this for about 4 years, but I'm
There's
not
gonna
sure.
be, there's gonna be a park not far from there. And
Yes.
it's probably gonna have some kind of access that,
Right.
but I don't know.
That's what they talked about, is parking
Yeah, last
by
time
the,
Matt- we talked to Matt, we talked about this park and access.
so it wasn't being able to drive right up to it.
Yeah,
But that's, I don't know how soon any of that's gonna happen.
yeah, that's down the road, that's a ways down.
What if we propose to see if we could communicate with Matt and Patrick and Brian and see about meeting over there by the ice rink, and not unless that'd be too much of an imposition on Matt.
Yeah, at a minimum, it could be me and Patrick, but I would first step, just kind of email Matt, regarding this and go from there.
Well, we have a lot of flexibility next week. We, set up at 10 o'clock in the morning type
Well,
thing or something like
Right about 12 o'clock on the 22nd and 23rd, you're all free.
that. Oh, that's next week.
Yeah.
You guys look together, man.
Wow. That's Thursday and Friday. Well, okay. I will communicate with them, see if we can meet before the 22nd, unless you can feel up to it after the field trips. At that time, it's time to go home and take a nap.
You know what, yeah.
You need
Or have a stiff drink.
You can drive into the parking areas pretty well, but to do anything beyond that, you need a pretty good vehicle.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I will pursue that and get back to you.
When I looked last week, I thought it was gonna be a difficult possibility.
Yeah.
I need to get over there.
You're a year away from it being
Yeah.
easier.
Yeah.
Any other old business?
Just a quick item, I was thinking, for the field trips, would you guys want the fire truck to be out on display, maybe, next to the museum, where we, you know, I don't know, we can drive it over there if you guys want.
You know, the big problem is time-wise, you know.
Yeah.
There's just so much time, especially there at the museum, you
Yeah.
gotta split them up. And, you know, you have 15 minutes here and then 15 minutes,
It really is a time crunch.
Yeah.
yeah, time crunch, you know,
Yeah.
thing.
They'd be very attracted to it, wouldn't they? Want to
Yeah,
spend a lot of time at
they
it.
would.
The kids won't want to leave it to have.
I know, it's just like so nice, you know, it's like another reason to get it out, you know,
We'll
but,
just let them all run
Well, I
around
mean,
over
can
there.
we do it for the October museum opening?
oh, yeah,
Yeah.
weather permitting, can try to
It'd
coordinate it
be
for,
good also
yeah.
for Veterans Day. I think.
Yeah, if we can do those. I would say no for this field.
What if you,
Although it'd be so cool, it would be,
I know, yeah, it isn't, I know it's
what
time
if you
crunch,
pulled it
yeah.
out, and just drove it out from the garage and they could walk past it on the way to Founder's Park? Because they're gonna walk up Founder's Park.
That would be all right, I think, yeah.
So they just walk, okay, yeah, I mean, we'll see.
I don't know, it'd be kind of neat to have it.
Oh, I think it would be great.
you just have to have someone standing beside it too, right?
Yeah,
And talking about it, so then we
more time.
really need another person.
Yeah, because you gotta make sure they're not.
Climbing.
Well, we could put it either where it's usually at for Count the Lights, or it could be on, just pull it up on the north side of the fence there, so it's closer to the road and that gravel. And that's that fence is kind of a deterrent, I guess, from kids, but, or just not do it, I just thought of it, so,
Well, I think it's a great idea.
I don't know.
Worried about the,
I really think the time, we're hard pressed to stay within the time constraints as it is.
Yeah, the walking between the three places takes longer than you
Yeah.
ever imagined.
the little legs.
Yeah.
Sounds like maybe not.
Okay.
But,
Great.
great idea.
Maybe next year we can like incorporate
Figure
it
it
in.
in.
Yeah, let's think about that.
Yeah, they'd have to be willing to give us more time to do it. I mean, from the school and with the
Yes.
logistics of the bus and
Bus
everything.
thing.
What a good part by Founder's Park, they can look at them while they're having their lunch. Get peanut butter and jelly on their paint jobs.
Of course,
No, don't do that.
I think it's a good idea, but I really think with the time,
Remember that for next year.
Mm.
Okay, staffing for October 1st, new business.
Yeah, I'll try and be
I will
there.
be there, Bob,
We will not be there.
Larry, okay, no. All right.
We may or may not be.
Kansas City,
Question mark?
Yeah.
November,
November.
I should be here.
going down
Okay,
for
well-
granddaughter's birthday.
That'll do. We have enough.
What do we have?
Tea on the Titanic.
Oh,
Get off before it hits the iceberg.
Yeah. It's a talk at a tea room in Georgetown.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah,
About the Titanic?
yeah, about tea
So are
on
you
the
gonna have
Titanic.
tea then?
We're gonna have tea.
Ooh, hey, hey,
And then go ride the
And the
train.
lifeboats.
tea and crumpets.
I will attempt to be at the next historic roundtable. I haven't been there in quite a while now, only yesterday. Oh, Christmas potluck location dash Walt.
Well,
Well, I
When do
put
you
that
want
on
it?
here because I thought you might need
Dates.
to
I'm ready.
check the availability of your,
It's pretty much available yet, but it will fill up. We're ahead of the game if you give me a date.
So we're thinking about having it at your
At the
clubhouse.
Yeah, we have a full kitchen in the whole bit.
What about your
In a hot
barbecue?
tub.
Dishwasher,
I could probably do it right in the clubhouse.
do what?
Fire up the grill?
Fire up the grill right in the main.
No, the grill.
No,
The grill, we have a gas grill just outside the door by the
Yeah.
pool.
but that's not gonna work for what I'm gonna do, so. I can,
he's gonna do it at our house, bring it over.
yeah, regardless of if the weather's bad, I'll do it in the oven. because I've done it before in there and I can make, so I'll make it at home and then we'll bring it over to the clubhouse.
But we have a gas grill, it's right.
Christmas Day is the 25th, I'm sorry.
Yes, it is.
The 25th, Christmas Day is on Sunday this year, so that's what I was trying to say. So we have we seem to like to do it on Sundays, there's the 4th, 11th, and 18th.
I don't know if you want to do a Christmas Sunday.
Probably
You
not.
think so?
No.
No,
Maybe a lot of people might be traveling at that time.
I think you want more something like the 11th.
I would think so.
Now, when is our ornament exchange?
Yeah, you gotta check your conflicts.
Nobody knows that.
Oh, okay.
The bigger
Yeah,
question is.
Of
whether-
course, that'll be at night, so we can work around it.
Yeah, that's right, and the Winnebago thing will be on a Saturday, so that's, if
Yeah.
we're thinking Sunday, then it won't
Yeah,
interfere.
then we're free. We don't care.
11th, 17th is a Saturday, 18th is another Sunday.
Yeah,
The 11th.
The 11th might be good, it's far,
What time do you want to have it?
We always had it 1 to 4, and that
Yeah.
doesn't mean we have to stick with that.
No, that's fine. Okay, so we're gonna use December 11th,
We could do it 12 to 12:30.
wonderful.
Jesus, Molly.
Wait, so is it a lunch or a dinner between 1 and 4?
Lunch.
Someone explain that to
Lunch.
me? Okay.
Well, it's potluck, but
It depends how much you eat.
You won't be looking for dinner.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, like Wally says, it's a potluck, and Wally always
Yeah.
picks up
Pot.
some roadkill for that.
yeah.
It's gonna be-
You might give us a little map of how we get there.
Well, I certainly will, sir.
That's months.
I can get lost in Superior
Just
really
go to
easy.
Starbucks and then keep going.
Oh, yeah, that'll hold a couple hundred.
Oh, okay.
Walt, is there a charge for renting it? Should we allow for that? Is there
Is there
a charge for using it?
No, because I'm on the
'Cause you're-
HOA board.
Okay.
Pull a
We
rank,
have-
huh?
So 1 PM?
1 PM,
Okay.
December 11th. I will call this afternoon to confirm it.
All right.
That's great, Walt.
And just as a heads up, at least, and I don't think I'm gonna change my mind, it'll be a brisket.
That's fine.
And
Well, I'm just saying, so people know what it is. That's what it's gonna be, yeah.
is there a TV
and that-
set in there in case people want to watch the Broncos game?
Brisket
in
of
case
Perry,
it's a Bronco
Prairie
game?
No,
Yeah.
we don't have a TV.
Uh-oh, you have to go cold turkey on Broncos then, huh?
Oh, bring your computer, we could watch it on it.
Yeah, we got Wi-Fi.
Very good, thanks for doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Walt.
Any other new business? I have two things, let's see if you have
Well,
any-
just
anything
the
first.
NFRAM meeting on Monday in Louisville.
Yeah.
It's a workshop in the morning about increasing membership or something, which doesn't apply to us, but in the afternoon, it's about using Past Perfect. And in the afternoon, I have to head off to work, so if someone else could be there for that part, it might be useful for you Past Perfect people. But besides the workshop on that, then they'll be touring the Methodist Church, which is having its 125th anniversary, and then touring the museum. So,
What date is that again, Mary?
this coming Monday.
Okay.
What do you want to do about this article, with this information?
Yeah, it should. Maureen brought it in, thought of us because we talked about the fire trucks in World War II last year.
It's interesting, it's a World War II museum, I've been there in this museum. And they collected all this stuff over the museum, but because World War II stuff is kind of now disappearing because of our age group. Less and less people have gone there. And he has lots of World War II planes and tanks and big stuff.
And they got started because that's where they made the little landing crafts or something.
That's
like that.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's just by Normandy Beach, it's off Normandy Beach. But, I don't know, they're thinking there's a Sherman Model 4 tank in running condition, and they expect it to sell for close $280,000 to $450,000. It's going to be an auction.
Well, that's what we need, a tanked auction off for our fundraiser.
It was a very nice museum, and unfortunately, the number of people that go there now about World War II is slowly diminishing.
There's a volunteer appreciation, oh, sorry.
Oh,
There's volunteer appreciation. Can you give us details? on
Yeah,
that? 'Cause it
I
came
have a
in
little
email
bit,
the
yeah.
other day.
I'll just pass these around. Some of you guys have probably already received an email, hopefully. It's not gonna be a formal, like, dinner this year, but it's, our event staff has kind of organized this celebration in Purple Park. It's on Saturday, the 24th. So I'll pass these around. Feel free to take one. Obviously, everyone here is invited, and it's outside. It'll be the day following 2 field trips.
We got emails on.
You got emails? Okay.
Just in case you
In
didn't.
fact, we got an invite.
Yeah, okay.
But,
Then
what's the time on it, though?
1 to 1:30 to, it's on there, yeah.
3:30.
Yeah.
But they stole our idea about an ice cream.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, Steve.
ours was first.
What all are you into if you're tied up?
Look what they did now.
Well.
I shouldn't have asked, I understand.
No, we're still doing Dale Thomas at the
Oh.
If you've already RSVP'd through the Evite, or, yeah, just, you can just hold on to that. You don't have to do anything, but, it's about-
Is that kind of, could be a drop-in thing?
I think so, yeah. I think you can, yeah.
I
I
might
don't
be
think
able to
it's,
get there later.
yeah, you can get there whenever. I mean, it's outside, so.
Weather permitting, all that.
Weather permitting, yeah.
Um,
Yeah, that's
okay,
right.
Should have known you'd have the information on that, Ryan, so, yeah, and, so the town thanks you, and, I thank you for all your help. It's a crazy commission. There's also that open house for recruiting people for committees, and I think after the last time, which is probably wasn't worth much of anybody's time, I think, so I don't plan on being there. Anybody else want to?
We don't have any openings anyway.
Right?
Yeah,
That's right.
so,
Yeah, we could do that. Take that position.
yeah.
Okay,
Do you guys like having people would attend a few times, so you ought to spread the word that when you meet? I'm not saying go that night, but you know, I think it's good that people do come before they apply.
Definitely, yeah, that's
I
true.
think that's
a good point, yeah.
Any other new business? Yes,
I
Kate?
just want to bring up again, meeting with Danny. If you guys were going to do that at
Oh.
some point.
I almost did it the other day. I stopped to talk to him, and he wasn't feeling very good. And I thought about sliding in a question about that, but I didn't want to push it because he was
Yeah, 'cause
pretty low that day.
I've been going around and I have not found him out anywhere.
Yeah, we've been looking for it, yeah.
Then I guess the other thought is talking to the town. But, you know, I've brought that up before, that if the town knows nothing at all about our interest in that building.
Oh, they know.
Town's well aware of it, I
Oh,
think.
yeah.
Which building?
School building.
Oh, the school building.
Yeah, I mean, why hasn't there been, like, well, pre-me, but like a prioritization of, you know, structures that, you know, that building's been like #1 on the list, right? On a list formed years ago? I thought.
Well,
It's
yeah, I
number
think-
one on what?
Well, I thought that was listed as like a high priority
Oh,
acquisition or, you know,
Yeah.
By the commission.
by the commission, yeah. Mhm.
I don't know if it's formalized that.
Yeah.
That's
Mhm.
yeah. And Denzel's talked with him real directly about it, I think. and
Yeah, sometime back, yeah.
That's been a while. I thought of a way to ask him, and then I didn't get around to it.
Yeah, well, he never showed up at the museum there last time. And George said he wasn't feeling too good then. So he's having a health issue right now.
Which puts more urgency on it in many ways.
My fear is that the town has always supported this group very well, and that
Yeah.
we can't all of a sudden, without stating our intentions, we can't come to the town and say, can we?
Yeah, I think
We need $200,000.
Yeah, you're going to need big bucks.
So
Because
at
the
least
building
it's
is,
just, and I'm sure there's people in the town that are aware of, but it just worries me that it, so I'll just continue to bring it up.
yeah.
If it is as important as you guys say it is, then we probably need to be doing something about it on the radar, you know, just that it's on the radar with the town.
Something in the back office. Something in the back office to,
Yeah, just,
so we can move quickly if
right,
things do
yes, exactly.
materialise. So everything's in place to go
Right.
forward.
Anything other new business?
But
David?
I'm wondering if Danny were willing to maybe donate the building, would there be like a tax incentive on his estate rate?
It would seem that way.
Would the town be able to sort of say, well, if you're willing to donate this at the time of your passing, we'll sort of give you a tax rebate on your estate or something, so much.
Our town wouldn't be involved in this state tax.
Okay. I just wondered how things work.
Using a donation things, donator.
Donor.
Donor, there we go, thank you.
Are we
determines the
about
value of
ready?
the donation or something, right?
Right.
Yeah, and then they use that for their
Yeah.
tax purposes.
And I don't know anything about the size of his estate to know if that would be of concern to him. It'll be up pretty high to even have a tax nowadays.
Was there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Walt moves.
I'll second it.
Okay. As soon as we
I
take consensus
want
on
to
that.
neglect my duty.
That's true.
Turn that off, would you?
So you're going in November?
Turn it
Yeah.
off.
I'm sorry.
Is that
It's got
off?
a green light on it.
When Brian gets through here, I have one other